Not everybody knows this, but you don't have to have a body to actually convict someone of murder. But if you do, you don't have to know that victim's name. It does, in fact, help without question, but it's true. And since 2010, police on Long Island have found more bodies than suspects on or near Gilgo Beach. They found 10 sets of human remains. 6 of those murders have now been tied to Rex Heuermann, an architect suspected of being the Long Island serial killer. Another alleged victim was found 60 miles away in Southampton, New York. Most, if not all, of Heuermann's alleged victims were sex workers, petite, young women whose remains were found tied up and sometimes wrapped up in burlap. All of them were identified, but 3 of the Gilgo bodies were not. One was a man believed to be Asian. Another was a woman who investigators called Peaches because of a tattoo they found on her chest. Peaches' torso was found in a Rubbermaid bin. That was back in 1997 in a state park 20 miles from where her arms and her legs would turn up 14 years later. That same year, 2011, the remains of her toddler were also found nearby. That toddler was called Baby Doe, little girl. And while we don't yet know who killed those 3 victims, we do know the names of 2 of them. Police today announced that Peaches is Tanya Denise Jackson, a 26-year-old Army veteran and single mom originally from Alabama. She was living in Brooklyn and believed to be working in a doctor's office before she died. Her 2-year-old daughter was Tatiana Marie Dykes. Both were ID'd through forensic genetic genealogy. NewsNation's Laura Ingle spoke exclusively with the retired detective who carried the body of Peaches out of that park 28 years ago and gave her the nickname that stuck with her to this very day.
Were you here when the bin was still here, or did you view the bin?
No, actually, my partner and I carried the bin out.
You carried the bin out of here?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
And put it into the morgue wagon, you know. And then went to the morgue afterwards to see when they opened it up. We didn't open it up here. We opened it up inside the Nassau County morgue. And that's when we discovered that it was, you know, a female torso.
What were the protocols back then for evidence and handling it? Obviously, things are different now with DNA, but what were the protocols like? How did you guys handle that?
Well, we were, you know, of course, you wear gloves and that kind of thing, especially picking up, you know. I mean, all that stuff was allegedly tested for fingerprints. I'm assuming in today's world, DNA.
Right.
We really didn't have a lot of that back then.
That was from Laura Ingle's YouTube channel, The Ingle Edit. Big question now. Were they murdered by the suspected Long Island serial killer, Rex Heuermann? Police say they can't rule it out, but Tanya Jackson doesn't fit his alleged type, and her toddler certainly doesn't either. Laura Ingle joins me now live from Hempstead Lake State Park, where Peaches was found. Hey, Laura, it's really dark there now, but does it feel and look like the perfect dumping ground for not just maybe the Long Island serial killer's victims, but others as well?
Sure. I mean, where I'm standing right now is an entrance to the park, and there's a road that you can see here behind me. And where I did that interview with William Brosnan, the retired detective from Nassau County PD, who carried the bin out of here, he showed me exactly where it was, and it was directly right off of this road. And for the longest time, many of us thought maybe it was in the woods, maybe it was hidden. But he told me and showed us that it was just off the road. So somebody drove through here, probably pretty quick at night. It's very dark, as you mentioned, dropped the bin and off they went. So this is kind of a cut through. The road that you see here behind me that goes through this really massive state park. So sure, it could certainly be the perfect dumping ground. And as we know, 1997, and here we are today finally learning the identity of Peaches, which took so long. And also interesting to note, Ashleigh, I wanted to share with you that Brosnan told me that in that tub that we've been talking about where her torso was found and that Peaches tattoo, that torso was found in multiple plastic bags inside of that bin with a pillowcase and a sheet. And so hopefully there is going to be preserved evidence, right? Because it was in a tub, it was sealed. But obviously investigators have been looking at this for many years, decades, in fact, trying to get to an answer. And that's why one of the reasons why they came forward today to tell us her name, tell us the name of her young baby, just 2 years old. That hopefully somebody will see these images, know these names, and come forward with information that can help lead them to a suspect in this case. And whether or not that's Rex Heuermann, we still don't know.
Yeah, the baby was found next to Valerie Mack, and he is charged with Valerie Mack's murder. So that's sort of curious. But you know, this woman does not fit the profile, and neither does a baby of Rex Heuermann's other alleged victims. What about the dad? This woman does not share the same name as the toddler. The father of the toddler, is he a suspect?
He was mentioned in the press conference today with Nassau County PD and the other investigators. That question was asked and answered. They said they have located him. He is cooperating. But what's interesting, Ashleigh, is that he or anybody else did not report her and the child missing. So that gives us a picture, a snapshot of what may have been happening in this woman's life. A single mom who was moving around. She was an Army vet. We know that she last lived in Brooklyn. She had a couple of addresses in Brooklyn. But I was listening to some people who are talking about this case, and they made note that, you know, she had babysitters. So none of the people that knew them, as far as we can tell, reported them missing. So maybe she had a nomadic lifestyle. We're unsure of that. But again, that's the very reason why there's now a $25,000 reward for anybody who can come forward and provide information in this case. But certainly, Ashleigh, to your point about a baby, I mean, look at that face. I mean, who could do such a thing, right? We haven't had this type of victim in this case. And when you look at Gilgo Beach and you look at Ocean Parkway, I know you have that map. When you take a look at it, end to end, these two victims are the bookends of the victims that were found along Ocean Parkway. Peach's extremities were found furthest to the west, and the toddler was found furthest to the east, right next to Valerie Mack. Now, I also want to point out one other thing that's really important, Ashleigh. Remember that planning document that we heard about during court with Rex Heuermann and the bail document? He had a planning document that allegedly was found on his hard drive in his home. One of the things in the planning document was to remove, destroy tattoos. Peaches was found in 1997. Investigators put that Peaches tattoo on TV for everyone to see. Fast forward to 2000, and this planning document that was allegedly made by Rex Heuermann has a note to self, destroy tattoos. And that is something that did happen with multiple victims.
Sure. It will be fascinating to find out what might be on that pillowcase, though. And might it lead to the father of the baby, or might it lead to Rex Heuermann, or neither? Laura Ingle, great work. Thanks for doing this late night out at that park. Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.